One mistake I see newer Warhammer players doing a lot is they're using the wrong rules. This goes for Kill Team, 40k, basically any Games Workshop game. And by this, I don't mean you're reading the rules and you're just not understanding them or following them incorrectly. I mean the rules you're using are actually wrong. I know it seems like if you have the core rulebook in front of you, that you read through these and these should be correct. But that's not always the case. Let me explain why the rules you're using might be wrong, and how you can get the correct rules for absolutely free. So if you're newer to miniature games or war games, you might not know that a lot of miniature games get updates constantly. Even though there's a core rulebook or the core stat lines, they often have changes made to them. Granted, not everybody approves of all of these changes, but it does help keep the game new and fresh. So if you're using a hard copy book, chances are it's like you're using an outdated software. It's just not modern. So there's a few different ways they put out these new updates. The first one is through a website where they do FAQs and balance data sheets. Then they have supplemental books they'll put out. And finally, they can come out in the White Dwarf magazine. So let's cover each of those in order. The first are the FAQs, or the balanced data slates. These are normally minor changes, and they just come out on their website. I'll have the URL linked down below. The second are the supplemental books. We've done these with the new war zones like Autarius and Shanath and Nachmund. And last edition we had Elites and Commanders, and we'll probably be getting another big supplemental book in Kill Team before too long, and they do these really frequently in 40k. Think of them more like a DLC than just patch notes. And the final way is through a monthly magazine called the White Dwarf, which is like Games Workshop's official magazine. So for Kill Team, a lot of times there'll be newer, updated teams in there, and for 40k there might be balance changes, new missions, stuff like that, or rules for like one particular model. Because these rules are pretty minor, you don't have to subscribe to this magazine, you just need to know the rules are there, and be willing to try to find them on the internet sometime. It's not like necessary that you have these magazines. No one will expect you to show up to a tournament with a stack of the White Dwarf magazines to show what your rules are. Just know for Kill Team that your team might be replaced by one in the White Dwarf. Chances are it will be the same models, there just might be new model choices, and they'll probably have some better, more fleshed out rules. So just be aware that's there. So that is a lot of sources to get your information from. It can kind of be overwhelming that you have to keep track of website changes and this magazine and new books coming out. But luckily for us, there's a few ways to really stay on top of it that make it pretty easy. The first one I want to talk about is Wahapedia. So this is a third-party website that basically has all the rules and data sheets for most of the major Games Workshop games, at least the stuff in the 40k round. So Kill Team and 40k. It's slightly less reliable than going from all the original sources, because like I said, it is third party, so mistakes can happen. And there's a delay between when the rules come out and when they actually get updated on the website. But overall, they do a really good job of getting it updated quickly. It's normally pretty reliable, and it's what most of the Warhammer community uses. So it's probably a good way to do it, especially if you're just playing with friends, you're not actually in a tournament. So another nice thing with Wahapedia, though, is if your team was replaced by one in the White Dwarf, it will actually have it labeled outdated. So another way to stay up to date is by following Warhammer Community. It's like Games Workshop's social media platform, so if you need to look it up on Instagram or Facebook, that's what you're looking up, not actually Games Workshop. They cover all the balance changes and new stuff coming out for all of their games. So if you only play 40k or Kill Team, you'll see a lot of stuff that's not relevant to you, but you'll see everything you basically need to know. Like, if there's a new thing coming out on their website with the balance changes, you'll see that. And the final way to get your information is by following Warhammer content creators. Normally there's content creators for whatever specific game you're playing, and there's some that cover everything. Like, I basically will cover Kill Team on this channel. I dive into other games a little bit, and occasionally if there's something big in 40k, I'll cover that too. But most of them have a thing they're specifically focused on. So if you find a content creator you really like, that's a good way to get your information. And if you're watching this and you are a Kill Team or a Warhammer content creator, drop your information down in the comments so other people watching this can go find other creators that they want to follow. Alright, hopefully that helps newer players kind of know where to get their information from and how to get it. I know when I first started playing this, I didn't know all this stuff was out there. People would be talking about new teams or new information, or so-and-so had a stat increased, and I was always confused where they were getting this information from. It's not like in the core rules they tell you follow this, this, and this for updated information. Just by looking at these books, you'd assume this is all there is and it would stay static, but like I said here, that's not the case. Since there's nothing that inherently helps out new players, I wanted to do something kind of give you all some direction and know where to look. Hopefully this helps. Thank you for watching.